All right, man, peace. So I've been receiving so many messages and emails from many of my subscribers to tell me about the information that has been quote unquote leaked about Kyrie Irving threatening to have knee surgery if he was not traded and saying, oh, brother, you were right and this and that. Brothers, to me, that's not deep or revelatory information. It was very obvious to me that Kyrie Irving must have stated something drastic. I believe that he had threatened retirement, according to the report. And we don't know how true that report is because Kyrie has yet to verify it. According to the report, they stated that he threatened to have some type of cleanup surgery done on his knee that will leave him out for the majority of the season. Who knows? Whatever it was clear that Kyrie wanted out and that he was willing to risk it all, if need be, to make the organization and LeBron know that he was not going to put up with the bullshit anymore. Anyway, they're going to talk about it and I'm going to chime in.
Cleveland.com reported yesterday that last summer, Kyrie Irving threatened to sit out the season and have knee surgery if the Cavs did not trade him. Kyrie's Celtics are at Golden State tomorrow, so the Warriors were asked about Kyrie's move. Draymond Green told Bleacher Report that he wasn't surprised Kyrie left and added, quote, I know the type of person he is. He wants more. And Steph Curry said, quote, at the end of the day, grown men make grown men decisions.
Now, I told you guys that when Steph Curry and Kyrie met up at Harrison Barnes' wedding, and they were joking around as Steph did his imitation of LeBron doing his little dance in his workout, that Kyrie was laughing very, very hard. They were both laughing hard together, and it was obvious to me that they'd had some conversations off camera, per se, off Steph's camera. And Steph most likely asked Kyrie what the deal was. Why did you decide to leave Cleveland? What were the parameters that made you decide that you could no longer tolerate LeBron? And I'm sure that Kyrie filled them in. Because please remember that Steph and LeBron also have a rather tumultuous relationship. Steph Curry, for those of you who don't know, actually attended some of the camps that were operated by LeBron and Chris Paul. And that is where he came into LeBron's company. And they were very, very cordial. Steph Curry also states that when he first came into the NBA, LeBron actually invited him over to his house. He bowled in LeBron's house because LeBron has a bowling alley in his home. And as Steph rose in prominence, of course, that created a distance in their relationship, which was never really that extensive to begin with. But for those of you who remember, one of the game-winning shots that LeBron hit in Miami was actually in Golden State. And as that game built up to its ultimate moment, Steph Curry and LeBron were basically dueling. Steph Curry hit Mario Chalmers with like 3 hesitation moves and then hit some crazy shot off the backboard and did a shimmy. And then LeBron hit a great 3-pointer to win the game. In the post game or after the game in the tunnel, LeBron and Dwayne Wade caught up with Steph and joked with him about how he hit Mario Chalmers with 3 hesitation moves, so on and so forth. That was a sign of respect because at that time, the Miami Heat were the defending champions. They were looking to go for a three-peat. And the Golden State Warriors were just a team who were trying to find their way. They had won like 47 games the previous year. They made the playoffs for the first time in a long time. And they would go on to lose in the first round to the Clippers. They were not viewed as a threat. That's why I state that what Golden State really did was throw a monkey wrench into LeBron James's program. He thought he was going to leave Miami, come to Cleveland, be the hero, win 2 or 3 more championships, and then be able to say that he's better than Michael Jordan. Golden State was not supposed to exist. So I say all that to say this. Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving were clearly very simpatico at Harrison Barnes' wedding because they both have a history with LeBron James and how quickly he can change up when things are not going his way. You remember how disrespectful LeBron was towards Steph in the latter part of the 2016 finals.
Skip, what's your reaction?
I'm not surprised by this either. And once again, I'm not trying to defend Kyrie Irving. I'm just telling you for a fact he was D-O-N-E done with all things LeBron James.
I could have told you that, Skip. I was stating that for the longest time. As a matter of fact, I think the only people who assessed the situation as it was myself and you. Because LeBron James has so many apologists in the sports media. as I've stated, when you truly view the LeBron James super fans and who serve as sports analysts both on ESPN and Fox Sports 1, they'll do whatever they can to evade the obvious, which is that this man is obviously lacking as a leader because he has too much feminine energy. He does not know how to speak to people because he wants to be venerated. And to a degree, it's understandable because when someone is as much of a genius at something as he clearly is, oftentimes they do have issues interacting with people. And the fact of the matter is that this man is not a good leader. I don't care what anybody says. There's a reason why he's only won 3 championships. And 2 of them were truly under the stewardship and leadership of Dwayne Wade in Miami. He went to Dwayne Wade's house. And Dwayne Wade basically gave him run of the house while he still supervised behind the scenes. He came to Cleveland and won 1 championship because of a series of disasters that befell Golden State. That's just the fact of the matter. So that's why it's laughable to me when many of LeBron James's fans try to claim that he is on the level with or above Michael Jordan. No. As a performer, as an executor on the court, they're in the same room. But when it comes to the mental intangibles, not even close.
James, and he's a different cut of young man. He is highly principled, you can argue to a fault. But once he digs in, once he decides it is over, over, he is not going to back off.
I agree. Anyone could see that about Kyrie. Kyrie's personality type is that once he believes something, once he thinks something, that's what he thinks. And he's not playing. He's not joking. He's not looking for you to pay attention to him. If you ask him a question, he's going to tell you what he really thinks. And you're just going to have to deal with that, whether you like it or not. Kyrie's not that guy. You know, Kawhi Leonard's also very similar. So it's not a surprise to hear about the upheaval that is going on behind the scenes with the Spurs in relation to Kawhi Leonard. Him and Kyrie are similar. They have their views, they have their outlooks. They're not high maintenance. But for the things that they stand for, that they adhere to, that they believe in, you're going to have to respect them. You're going to have to respect it, or they're just going to leave. It's not going to be any bluster. They're just going to depart. And fans and media members are going to be left shaking their head. They're going to look at them like, wow, you're really leaving? And they're going to say, yes, I told you I was leaving.
And I do believe he's willing to sit out a year rather than have to play another year and live another year with LeBron James.
I agree. As I stated, I thought he was ready to retire. And I still believe that. I believe he was ready to retire or go to Europe or whatever. But in his mind, he was very, very much done with LeBron. And I believe that is only the tip of the iceberg in regards to why their relationship soured so quickly. Stephen A. Smith has alluded to there possibly being a situation that is, quote unquote, and this is verbatim quote from him, none of our business. To me, when I hear those type of words, it means that there was a woman involved. That's just me.
James. My only issue with the story is from the Boston perspective. Danny Ainge has to sit back and say, well, wait a second. If you could have used cleanup surgery on what was once a fractured kneecap, why didn't you have it in the offseason before you came to Boston? Is it swelling a little bit on you now? I assume it's still plaguing him.
And if you get upset at us, what would you do? Would you fake it again? Would you sit out again? Well,
I don't think he's faking it.
No, I'm just saying, would you...
Well, yes, you're just saying a whole lot of hot air, brother. You're saying a lot of hypotheticals. Everything that's being stated right now is alleged because the brother Kyrie has yet to come out to confirm or deny anything that Cleveland.com has put forth for the masses. Right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are in the midst of damage control. They have to explain why their team is pulling apart or falling apart at the hinges, pulling apart at the seams. It does not look good for LeBron. So, as usual, the media is going to help LeBron by playing the spin doctor. When the story was originally reported many months ago, it was explicitly stated that LeBron James had the opportunity to either keep Kyrie or execute a trade, have a trade executed for Mr. Paul George and for Eric Bledsoe. He agreed with the deal. He liked the deal. This is according to the original report. But the stipulation from Dan Gilbert was that he wanted LeBron to sign an extension. That is the only reason why LeBron did not sign up on that deal for Eric Bledsoe and Paul George, is because he did not want to be hemmed in by Dan Gilbert. Now suddenly LeBron was calling Cleveland and he did not want them to trade Kyrie. All that shit is bullshit. And if Isaiah Thomas had come back averaging 30 a game, shooting 60% from the field, no one would have exposed, quote unquote, this story or this rendition of what Kyrie Irving stated to Cleveland management. And I'm not saying that he didn't state it. It sounds like something that may have occurred, even though I have a hard time believing that the brother would actually have some form of a surgery on a knee that did not need it just to stay out for the entire year. That's why, to me, it would have made more sense if he had threatened to sit out the year or threatened retirement, because I cannot see someone having cleanup surgery or knee surgery that he doesn't need. So I'm waiting to hear what Kyrie will have to say in response to this story.
Would you
stand?
Right,
Okay.
right.
Sure. Yeah, he would. He would.
Yeah. Skip, are you surprised that the Warriors said this? In the 7-game series in which the Cavaliers won, Kyrie averaged 27 points a game. In the in last year's series, he averaged 29 points a game. You could understand why they would want and support Kyrie breaking up that.
Absolutely. Kyrie was by far the best offensive player for Cleveland in both of those series against the Golden State Warriors in the finals. LeBron James was getting most of his points in transition. Now, he had about 3 or 4 games in those 2 series in 2016 and 2017 where he shot well from the field, from beyond the paint. But most of his points were coming in transition. Kyrie Irving was by far the most dynamic offensive player, maybe of both teams, in both of those finals matchups. He was great in the 2016 and 2017 finals.
Because they were getting 61 points just between those 2 guys.
That's fair.
So I'm not surprised, because think about it. He wants more, but Kevin Durant took less money. Steph Curry stayed. Klay Thompson, Draymond, every Kyrie wants more. We don't want no more. You see what it is, Skip?
Well, maybe when they stated that Kyrie wanted more, what they really meant was he wanted a chance to lead a team, and he understood that Cleveland was not going anywhere. It's very obvious to me before the season that the Cleveland Cavaliers are not going anywhere. They stood pat with the same personnel. They got blitzkrieged in last year's finals. Why would you expect this season to end any differently from last season? Even you, Mr. Shannon Sharp, in your prognostication for how the season would turn out for Cleveland, you stated that they were going to win the championship, but it was totally based on a stipulation that they traded for DeMarcus Cousins, who, by the way, seems to be out for the rest of the season. We'll see what the official judgment is going to be on his Achilles. But from what I saw, that man is done for the season. So if you saw that Cleveland had no chance of beating the Warriors, clearly Kyrie saw that. And he also understood that they viewed him as being expendable. Shannon is just extremely upset because he knows that this stratagem that Kyrie successfully executed is going to alter LeBron James' legacy in the long run. This is going to be another wasted year for LeBron James. And people have to understand that athletes age differently from regular people. After 30, every year for an athlete is like 2 years. And after 35, every year is like 3 years. So LeBron James basically lost 2 seasons this year when Kyrie decided to leave and not give him a real opportunity to win a championship.
Don't stay together and win on these championships. We'll let them feud. They want more. They want more championships. Kyrie want more in terms of responsibility.
And peace of mind. And reality. Because staying in Cleveland would have been trying to maintain a delusion. Why maintain a delusion? For who? For LeBron? For you? For the liberal sports media who's trying to create and craft this cult of personality around LeBron James, where Kyrie Irving is supposed to be a bit player and never get much credit in regards to a true understanding of what he's bringing to the table? All of this is just amazing to me because every aspect of this situation I laid out from the start. Kyrie Irving understood, just like I understand, that if you have no chance of winning a championship, you might as well have no chance in a place where you're going to be happy. Why stay somewhere where you're not going to be happy?
More ownership of what's going on. That's the difference between Golden State in some of these other teams. They want more titles. These players want more responsibility, more visibility. Oh, I'm the guy. I'm the man. It's my team. I don't care nothing about that. You think, oh man, you rode, yeah, I told you. They tell me all the time, Skip, I get on Twitter, oh, you rode John Elway coattail. You right, I did. Rode it.
There's your
No,
mistake.
but Skip,
You're actually responding.
No,
to
I
that.
do, Skip, this is what I hit him with.
Yes, Skip understands Shannon very well. Shannon's another pro-black internet revolutionary living a lie, worrying about what people think about him on social media. 50 years old, acting like he's 22.
I say I rode his coattail for 9 years, and then 12 years later, he dropped my ass off in Canton. So I am mad. Y'all can't hurt my 50 rings. They got John Elway got his name on his. I got my name on mine. That don't bother me, Skip. I'm trying to win titles. Well, look, did I want to play with? Absolutely. But whose team and who gets all the credit? There's a pie on a team. If you win, there's enough slices to go around for everybody.
There are.
Well, you know what, brother? As you guys oftentimes say, there's a difference between the NBA and the NFL. In the NBA, you're evaluated based off of how many championships you can lead your team to. That's just how it is. That's why I call football the ultimate team sport, because it's much more role-oriented. You cannot compare your role as a tight end on the Denver Broncos with Kyrie Irving as probably one of the top 5 most talented small guards to ever play this game. This is at this point right now. I said top 5 most talented, not top 5 greatest. He still has a ways to go in regards to that, but he's climbing that list as well. And at the end of the day, it's not about him wanting to leave Cleveland because he wanted to get credit for leading his team to a championship as much as he wanted to go somewhere where he could have a peace of mind. But because you have crafted this image of LeBron James as a god in your head, you cannot even entertain that aspect of the disintegration of their relationship. Now, a more favorable comparison, since you want to compare your relationship on the Broncos and with John Elway with Kyrie and LeBron on Cleveland, would be what if you were going in the locker room and John Elway was always trying to talk down to you and castigate you no matter what you did. When you tried to approach him, he turned his head, he cursed you out. You on record as saying that you did not allow anybody to curse you. We've all seen little snippets of Kyrie trying to approach LeBron and talk to him. And LeBron turns to him and curses him out and turns his head away like a bitch. Totally different. And I fully understand why Kyrie wanted to leave. I have been stating that from the inception of this whole situation. Kyrie's energy is a very calm, masculine energy. LeBron's energy is very tempestuous and very feminine. It is what it is. Get over it.
I'm good. I ain't greedy. You know, I know John and TD won't get the, but I won't get the next biggest fight.
So, I do admire Kyrie Irving for this. In an era in which we see one superstar after another try to go join forces,
Yeah.
he just said, okay, wherever, Boston, is Gordon Hayward going to change life in Boston? He's an all-star, but is he that guy? Is he a superstar? No, he's not. And Kyrie said, okay, I'll do that because I'll go head-to-head with LeBron because I'll show that we can beat LeBron.
Well,
And beyond that, Kyrie was excited about being able to learn about basketball from a great coach. That's truly what moved him and galvanized him. So when he found out that he was going to Boston, he realized he was going to a team with a great legacy. That means they have a great culture, and they have a phenomenal young coach. Brad Stevens is the modern-day Greg Popovich. He's going to be considered the top dog in the NBA when Greg Popovich finally decides to sit his ass down and go drink his wine and stop acting like he's so liberal.
well, I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Boston next year.
Why would you do that?
Why not?
You or LeBron?
Bron, me and Bron.
Oh, you and Bron.
Me and Bron.
And why would you do that?
Why not? We're trying to win.
Because you're trying to say, we needed you, Kyrie?
No.
Huh?
I like Larry Bird. I'm a big Celtics fan. I had those heavy butt shoes that Larry came out with. The weapons. They were really weapons. You kick somebody's jaw, you break their leg.
So how much do you miss Kyrie Irving right here, right now?
Skip, I miss him every night. Every night I cry myself to sleep. Braun and Savannah asked me why I'm crying. I said, 'cause that little nigga cost us a championship. That's why. Every night, get on my damn nerve. I can't believe we traded him for Emmanuel Lewis.
Skip.
How much?
Listen.
They're 3-10 in their last 13 games. Of the
You know I
Cavaliers.
miss Kyrie.
You realize they got Indiana tonight and they've lost
We got them.
all three to Indiana.
Bet we get them tonight.
Well, you better get them tonight.
We're gonna get 'em
No,
tonight.
you better.
But Skip, you know I miss Kyrie. Because look what we got to replace him.
You were so excited about it,
What?
Isaiah. Come on.
Well, maybe they traded damaged goods for damaged
No,
goods. Maybe
Kevin Love be having that situation wrong. Kevin Love, see, he might have some more problems at him, but you got to step to somebody that come at you like that, Kevin Love. Stand up for yourself.
Poor Kevin Love.
Kevin Love is not thinking about no damn Isaiah Thomas. Kevin Love is happy. He's getting paid. He has a championship. You know, whenever he retires, 5-6 years after that, he's going to the Hall of Fame. He's good. He's not thinking about those dudes. And I stated before, when you could tell that locker room, the culture of that locker room is a very childish. I mean, pro athlete culture is you know, that's like a simple-minded culture as it is. People who are erudite, they're not going to fit into that type of culture. So it's easy to see why certain guys feel alienated, whether it's a Kyrie Irving or a Kevin Love, who, from what I understand, you know, they're not really conformist. And LeBron James is extremely insecure, and he needs to feel like the people around him worship him and venerate him and are quote unquote thankful for what he brings. That's why he's always ranting about, I don't know if people understand what I do and are thankful for what I do. He wants to, he truly considers himself a savior. And that leads to a lot of the dissolution in regards to his relationships with his teammates. You see, when he leaves teams, the guys that he leaves behind, they hate him because they buy into this veneration mentality of worshiping him, and then he just leaves. And it's like, I can't believe it. I basically sold my soul for this nigga, and now he leaving me. You saw it the first time he left Cleveland when Boobie Gibson just started to hate him. Then he left Miami. Mario Chalmers started to hate him. And now here you got Kyrie and Kevin Love. LeBron does not know how to have a realistic relationship with someone. Everything with him is crafted around the understanding that you should be just so thankful that I'm coming into your life. I'm LeBron James. I'm here to save you.
He is the scapegoat.
Swing on somebody.
Kevin Love is he's new Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
When LeBron was in Miami, Chris Bosh got blamed for everything.
But the thing, Kevin Love, think about this. Kevin Love was 20-10 before Isaiah came back. He was 20-10. Now Kevin Love is like 14-7.
But Isaiah's greatness, though.
And if you have the best player on the planet, he should rise above all of this mess and just say, I got this.
I agree. But he can't do it because the only thing that he could do is run the LeBron system. I always compare it to the 97-98 season. Scottie Pippen was out. The Bulls actually started that year something like 7-8 or 8-9. They played very poorly. Like their first 30 or 35 games, they were hovering around 500. Scottie Pippen was out with an injury, and he decided that he was going to capitalize on the Chicago Bulls' early struggles by trying to hold the Chicago front office. He was trying to hold their feet to the fire because he'd had contractual issues with them for his entire career. And right when he started to talk all that shit, oh, I might just hold out for the whole season, yada, yada, yada. The Bulls went on a winning streak. Jordan adapted. They won something like 18 of their next 19 or 20 of their next 22, something like that. And Pippen understood he better rush his ass back because his stock was dropping. And they ended up winning 62 games that season. So that just goes to show you what great players do. They take what they have and they make the best of it. But the Bulls actually ran a real system. Cleveland does not run a real system. They run the LeBron system. So whenever the Cleveland Cavaliers are not playing well, or whenever a LeBron James team is not playing well, you have to focus on LeBron. Because what other system can they run other than the system that's focused around him?
Can I ask you a question? I'm going to make a dish. I'm going to give you 80% bull crap, 10% chicken crap, and 5% horse manure, and the rest LeBron.
Well, maybe
what do you think it's going to taste like?
Chocolate oil on it, and then
5.
You know.
5. Look, the best player on the planet is only 5% of your dish.
I'm just saying, when you give me more of the bull jive, that's what happens.
Blah, blah, blah. Once again, that is another technique to absolve LeBron James. How could LeBron James only be 5% of the team when there's only 12 players on the team? That doesn't even make any sense. And beyond that, we all know that everything is focused around him. So he's at least 30%. But anyway, happy for Kyrie. He showed a great deal of foresight. Peace.